Trigger is one of the worst sniper I've ever seen in my life. She's not only just blind, she also swings her sniper rifle like a baseball bat. And me, as an elite sniper with over 300 kills in Call of Duty single player easy mode, I know what it takes to be a sniper. Sniping is all about control. You gotta factor out everything that could mess with your shot, like controlling your breathing or even your heartbeat. Meanwhile, every time Trigger pulls the trigger, her butt cheeks and her meat all around her body bounce harder than a bouncy castle full of kindergarteners. She gonna miss her shot harder than I missed the toilet seat with the morning wood. But hey, that's exactly why we play this game.
命令を待つわ。トントトトントントントントントントントトトントントントントントン。
So basically, Trigger is an off-field stunner with off-field days and DPS. She's capable of dishing out about 8 to 15% of the damage for the entire team, which is not a lot, but definitely not negligible. Her stunning capability is not as good as the on-field stunner, but definitely good enough. Like if you're playing optimally with the Astra Nicole team, you could get about 3 stun to the unknown corrupted complex in the deadly assault. But with Trigger and her signature weapon, you could get 4 stun, and with optimal play, you could get 5 stun with Chinyi team. And she also got this 35% breaks multiplier, which increased her damage by 35%, and she got very little on-field time than all the stunner. And unlike stunner like Lighter and Chinyi, her kit doesn't revolve around dealing damage during the stun window. She's more like a consistent DPS support like Caesar, Lucy, and Astra. The kind of support that gives you 24/7 buff, so she's gonna be doing really well with Anbi, which is a consistent DPS. She could also work perfectly fine in the Anomaly team, but her additional ability only allow her to pair with attackers and a lightning attribute characters, and that left us with only Yanagi and Grace. I could also see a pretty good improvement on pairing with Soldier 11, Evelyn, or even Jane though, even though they are not exactly the most powerful teammates for the Trigger. And now let's get into how to play her. You wanna max out her core and basic first, and then its ultimate, defense assist, and skill. They are all equally important, but they are not as urgent as the first two. You wanna get her crit rate up to 90% to get the 75% impact from her off-field attacks, which is her main source of days, and you would be losing a lot of impacts even if you're at 80, cause like 80% crit rate you're gonna get like 60 impacts, and at 40% crit rate you're gonna get 0 impacts out of it. So make sure to get to 90% at all cost. So basically what you want to do with Trigger is basically just hold attack until she fires the 4th shot, then release. Then you quick assist into your DPS, but she only quick assists to the previous characters. So you gotta put Trigger behind the DPS when you are forming a team. And after you fire this 4th shot, the bar up there is going to fill up, and you basically got everything that you need from Trigger, whether it's 35% breaks multiplier, the days, the sub attacks. As long as the bar isn't empty, you're getting pretty much everything from Trigger. Just remember to hold attack with Trigger every 1 minute, cause that's how long it took for you to use all of that. And remember to swap back to her from time to time to use her skill and ultimate, and use them outside of the stun window cause it can deal a lot of days. And unlike Bernice and Astra, she couldn't trigger the anomaly with her off-field attack, and what her skill and ultimate does is make her into this coordinate support mode, turning this bar into orange. And what it does, it gives faster shot. It simply just gives more days and DPS. The skill would give 4 shot, and the ultimate would give it 6 shot, and you could stack up to 10 shot, and it only need 8 seconds to fire 10 shot, which originally it's gonna take 30 seconds, because usually she gonna fire 1 shot every 3 seconds, so it's quite powerful. And that's all you need to know to how to get started with Trigger, but I've made an even more details breakdown on this video. I know the title is kind of aging like milk, but I have this slightest of hope that it's gonna turn into a premium yogurt, but I think it would probably has higher chance that it's gonna turn into a something stinkier than a pile of vomit. And here are some animation cancel guide. So her skill animation took a really long time to finish, And some people claim that you gotta wait for the quick assist to pops up at the end of animation, then swap the characters. But I don't find it useful unless you are playing with Astra, who already give enough quick assist for the Astro Voice 4 set. So I don't really find waiting for quick assist is useful unless you are using Starlight Engine. So here's how you do it. You simply tap your skill and swap to other characters. And that's it. And you would also get this coordinate support mode. And you can also do this ultimate, then hold attack to fill up your bar. And you quick swap at this second shot, cause the quick assist is not gonna last until the third shot. And you can also do this ultimate into skill, then quick swap. And if you happen to use skill before the ultimate, just make sure that you get your last shot out first before you cancel into ultimate. But if you use ultimate before the last hit, you're not gonna get the benefit from the coordinate support. You would be losing the buff from the skill. So as you can see, if I cancel the skill too early, I would only get the 6 shot from the ultimate, while if I cancel at the last hit, I'm gonna get 10 shot. And I don't think a lot of people gonna use this unless you mess up with your energy management. You could do skill then quick assist at the beginning of the second skill. She's not so complicated when it comes to gameplay. And as for the gear, I don't really see people talks about Shockstar 4 set in the JP side and the CN side. I only see those opinion in the EN side, but I still test both of them anyway. And here's what I think. I would highly recommend Shadow Harmony over Shockstar. And yes, I do well aware that people has been tossing that Shockstar should be a better pick. I don't understand the math behind it, but I do run some tests with Deadly Assault myself. And the problem with Shockstar is that not only it is harder to build, cause you're gonna need 90% crit rate, and you also need 1 extra stun to justify the use of it, because any daze on the enemy, if you're not able to get the enemy to stun, then it's completely wasted. Let me show you guys an examples. This is one of the run that I used with Shockstar, and I got 77 days at the end of the match, and I couldn't get more stun than when I used the Shadow Harmony set. So all the days and impacts here are all wasted. In this situation, you either want to get even more impacts to chase for the last stun, or you give up the impact completely for other stat. And I think that's also why her signature has massive amounts of impacts. For those who don't know, she got another 20% impacts on top of 24% crit rate. And that gives you more reason to not use Shockstar unless you are able to push for that 5th stun in the Deadly Assault. And even if you could, the gameplay is gonna be very sweaty and it's gonna be really hard to manage. And the worst part is the final result wouldn't have that much differences. They are actually very close. So definitely go for the Shadow Harmony, so you could have much easier time on trigger, and you would probably have better chance on getting better gear on Shadow Harmony, because you are either grinding for Vivian or you are grinding for Anby. If you are the types of player who rerun the Deadly Assault and Shiyu defense for hundreds of times to push for a better time and score, this advice is not for you. But as for Shadow Harmony, you would get all the set benefit without worrying about the stun. You would also get 12% crit rate in the battles, so you only need 78% crit rate on the stat to achieve 90% crit rate in the battles. And as for this number 6, you might want to go for the attack percentage if you don't have her signature. But if you have her signature weapon, go for the impact main stat, cause you're gonna get an extra stun on the Deadly Assault. But I would recommend to have both of them so that you could adapt to different kind of boss and the game mode. And I gotta say, game dev did a lot of math on this. They made it so hard to get the 4th stun without the signature engine, but you could get the 4th stun at ease with the signature in this unknown corrupted complex. Actually, Astro Voice 4 set is the best set for trigger if you're pairing her with Astra, while Astra is using Swing Jazz. You would get about 10% overall damage increase as compared to the standard build, and I will talk about it in details later. As for best 2 set, use Woodpecker 2 set until you get 90% crit rate. If you could get over 90 crit rate, then you could move on to get the Shockstar for the comfort, to get an earlier stun or secure a stun in the Deadly Assault, and Attack 2 set for the consistency. it actually doesn't have that much difference at this point. And as for main stat, we discussed this number 6, it is ideal to have both attack percentage and the impacts. This number 5, electro damage, but pen ratio is bad if you're using her signature weapon or if you're using Nicole on the team, because both of these have defense shred and it's gonna make pen ratio less effective. And for the same reason, your DPS on the team shouldn't be using pen ratio. And for this number 4 is absolutely crit rate, or else trigger is not gonna sit on your face. So as for W engine, you would see about 13 to 15% improvement as compared to any other stunner engine. They're all roughly the same. Even the attacker's crit rate engine is also performing roughly the same. Koleida's engine is a little bit better, and if you happen to have Teapot, then her signature is no longer a must pull. And this is just a friendly reminder, when you're playing Deadly Assault, if your Qingyi and Trigger are on different team, they could share the same engine without issue, and you could also share the same disc on different team. As for the best team, Astra and Miyabi shamelessly take away the top position again. And I do see a pretty good potential with Caesar even though I don't have her, because Anby get hit by the mobs more than Jack Dorsey and Johnny Somali getting knuckle sandwich on the live stream combined. Except that Anby doesn't deserve it. And as for the S-rank team is the Sanby Trigger duo, and follow with any support that I listed here. Qingyi is unfortunately not working so well. When I test her, she's just slightly better than Nicole, and Nicole is better than MyScape 1 Rina and Lucy. And the other duo that I highly recommended is Yanagi and Trigger duo. You slap pretty much any anomaly unit here, you're gonna get a pretty good result. And surprisingly, Julian Nicole team is actually really good. I got this score number from a JP content creator. He got 53,000 on this Deadly Assault boss. And under the same condition, the Anby team got 57,000 score. And by under the same condition, I mean there are M0S1 and Nicole with MyScape 6. And Trigger does feels like she could fit into a Lawsup team, but not necessarily the best in slot like Astra with any other team in the game. And here is my personal test result. The best score that I've got is actually with Astro Voice. With Astra in this Wing Jazz, I got 46.9k with 3 stun. And even though it doesn't seem to have that much differences with the Shadow Harmony on the attack percentage, which is 46k, but when I take a look at the result of a JP content creator, he got 64k with the Astro Voice set, and he got 57k on the Impact main stat Shadow Harmony with 4 stun because he has Trigger signature, so it could be the skill issue from my part. And I've also tested with the Restraint. With the same gear, I got 43.9k, and about the Shock Star, I wasn't able to get the 4 stun, and that's why I recommend Shadow Harmony over the Shock Star. And this is my test result with the Restraint. These are the results. As you can see, my Qingyi doesn't have much differences to the Nicole team. I actually also used the Impact main stat on this number 6, but the score are just straight up worse by a small margin because I couldn't get an extra stun with that amount of impacts. And this is the result with MyScape 1 Rina and Lucy. The test result here is kind of odd. I couldn't get a consistent score on the Miyabi team. I don't know why, but this is the final result. But I still decide to post this result anyway. I don't think the Restraint has that much differences to the Teapot. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. For those who tune in for the Harumasa guide, I'm so sorry because I haven't finished it yet, but it's almost there. I'm gonna finish the Harumasa manual chain attack guide after I finish a tier list videos and maybe a videos that dedicate to Trigger and Yanagi. Then I will continue doing the Harumasa guide. And yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys.